barricades whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone had a great day today. Oh, can you type a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me? All right. Good, good. I am glad of that. So, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. I am not Lee, but he will be along shortly. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for bearing with us last night with all the technical difficulties and hanging in there, and it was a good time anyway. So thank you again for that. So I'm going to go ahead, and I am not sure if he's ready or not. He'll let me know. Bear with me a moment. Are you ready, sir?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Can you hear him? I can hear you. Chat,
I can hear
can you
you.
please leave a 1?
I'm sure they can hear me, but we should probably make sure.
Yes, everyone can hear you. So, how are you?
I've been better. I have a little bit of stomach issues. I'm anxious. I feel like we've let a lot of people down. Well, mostly I let myself down with how much cluster hell we've had this last few days trying to get this stuff worked out. So technical issues left and right has been frustrating, and so I'm kind of down on myself right now, to be honest with you. But we're here. We made it pretty close to live. I don't know that I'm in the mental space to run the show, so maybe you should run the show, and I can just be backstage for in case there's a question, because I'm still kind of recombobulating myself, if you will.
Sure, yeah, that's no problem. And don't be down on yourself. Things happen unexpectedly. You can't, control every situation, but I don't know. Everyone seems to have been having a good time with everything. So, so there's that.
Cool.
I'm sorry to hear you're not feeling quite up to par, I guess.
Yeah, it's all good. We're gonna go for a drive later tonight, so we'll have some more members only live stream stuff and some more recording on our last night in Moscow and Pullman. So we'll get back out there again for those who want to hang out after hours on the members only stream. Wow, I just realized you have a decent audience, which is horrible because I'm not in my top mood, and we've got a decent number of people in here. That's horrible time for me to show up. Fantastic, everybody. I'm not in my peak performance. Not that there is such thing as peak performance, but anyways.
They're just always happy to see your smiling face. It doesn't matter. So
Right.
all right.
Yeah, Joe.
Well, I guess I'll
Joe
go
should
ahead
be online too.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go ahead and bring up. We have the man of mystery 1-1 backstage. Let me add him to the stage here. There you are. Hello, sir. How are you this evening? We cannot hear you. Hang on. There we go. Try it again.
Oh. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, Robin. Good evening, Den. Good evening, Lee. How you doing?
Living the dream.
Living the dream.
I'm trying to survive. I got no heat in my building here, so
What happened?
always something. I'll be fine. As long as I got my cigar, I'm good.
I wondered why you were in your coat. I was like, wow, he must really be. I guess you are cold. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That really sucks.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get it fixed soon. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Mr. Jason from Estes Crime Maze to the stage. Hello, sir. How are you? Oh, he's ready to go. Look out. Look out. He's getting wild already.
Hi, everybody. Yes.
How you doing, Matthews? Hello.
I got some startling new information tonight when you're ready about Brian Coberger.
About your what?
Brian Coberger.
Brian Coberger. I got some startling new information I came across on television.
Oh, my.
No less. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
Is
boy.
it?
Look out.
Is he a movie actor?
I can't say until we get a few more thousand people coming on the live. Lee's building up this live with Robin's help, and this is amazing. And I'm excited to talk with you guys tonight. Can you tell?
All right. We are all happy to be here.
Good.
So, where's Mr. Joe?
I can't really explain where Joe's at. He will be on shortly, but I promise not to tell everybody where he's at. So that's just going to have to be a mystery.
We'll leave it at that.
Wow.
That's okay. So,
yeah.
just a little bit of housekeeping. Please make sure to like the video. It helps the YouTube algorithm to say, oh, wow, these people all love devil's advocates. we need to push them far and wide to the rest of the world. So please do that, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that, again, we can share the channel to the masses out there. And also, as Lee mentioned earlier, we do have a members only section. They are doing a lot of stuff. For those who may not know, Lee and Joe are boots on the ground in Moscow, Idaho, and Coeur d'Alene the past couple days over the anniversary of the Idaho 4 murders. So they have lots of great content. It's $2.99 to become a member. You know, not a lot of money, but you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. Last night was a very fun and intimate evening or after hours session with Lee and Joe and their travels around the area. So that was a lot of fun. We were up till, I think it was about 4 a.m. Eastern time. So don't know that's going to happen again tonight necessarily, but I know that they do plan on doing some after hours stuff again tonight. So I don't know if you want to fill them in a little bit more about that, Lee.
I will say this, Joe's like, dude, I can't drink like that every night. I'm like, I don't drink like that. Like we started out saying, let's have a couple of glasses of wine, which might have turned into like 7 glasses of wine. I don't know. But
Wow.
yeah, they kind of got a little dicey at the end. So we're going to hold off on drinks tonight. However, we are going to go back out and do another members only live stream from our drive. It'll just be a little bit, I wouldn't say tamer, because we're not tame even when we don't have a little bit of, yeah, so we're not tame anyways. But anyways, tomorrow night, we may not be doing a live, it may be all your show tomorrow night, just mostly because on Joe's last night, one of the things that we wanted to do was we wanted to take a moment to have a few drinks and watch some UFC fights. There's a couple of title fights right during the live. And so I thought maybe you guys can play while we're away, and we're going to just enjoy our last night together before he heads back, having a few drinks at the bar and watching some UFC fights. So we'll see about that. Not too far, you know.
Maybe we'll do some call-ins.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're okay. Yeah. If you're okay with that.
I thought, DA, that you were going to say maybe that you were driving to the stars with Joe and overlook how Brian Coberger, we were told, right, looked at the stars and just reminisced about his life. But apparently it's UFC instead. I can't blame you, though.
I did try to get. Yeah, I did try to convince him to go for the drive to a certain park related to this case, but he's like, what is there to see there? We're going to lose cell coverage. There's nothing to see. It's pitch black at night. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. I mean, there's nothing really to see. So
yeah.
Did you guys go to the corner club, or I know you drove by it, but
we didn't go in, and I'm going to be frank with you. Part of the reason why we haven't gone in is both him and I feel really uncomfortable being in a college town at our age.
The age, I figured. Yeah, it's a little
old dudes going into a college bar doesn't seem like it's a good taste. I don't know.
I get that.
Come on, dude. The youngies are supposed to be taught nowadays to respect your elders, man. Look at Japan. You guys can be a great example. These young people need to be challenged. You guys are the real deal, man.
I don't know if they see it that way. So we're still trying to debate. We're still trying to debate what we'll do with that.
I guess while we're waiting for JJ, I guess I'll ask Esty the question. So that I asked JJ earlier in the live. So there's some info, but mostly there's always rumors and whatnot. It's nothing concrete, and who knows? Just like the Idaho case, we'll probably never get anything concrete with the Charlie Kirk situation. But there's some info coming out that the whole situation that may have occurred may be that Charlie was starting to get some info that other things were going on, and he was getting over his head. So one of the rumors, and I'll be clear, it is a rumor. I'm not saying that it's fact. That's very important. I know Lee is very big about going by what's actually proof and documents and whatnot. But just in the overall concept of that, Kirk possibly was getting some other info or whatnot, that he was getting over his head, and some of the info that's coming around is that it may be even possible that his children are not actually his.
Yeah, I heard that today.
I know it's like a wacky thing, and there was like other stuff too, like going on and whatnot, and he wasn't sure really how to deal with all of it, but he was starting to like piece stuff together. So that I just wanted Este's, well, everyone's opinion. What do you think about that?
Kinds of, in a way, it doesn't surprise me because I've always thought from day one that this is a big, intelligence operation. And I think we're seeing that play out. And if you guys ever want to check out interviews I did with Ellie on Charlie Kirk, we spoke about him in Idaho 4, of course. But I think Ellie, I'm pretty sure she said, and I agreed that, we've never seen the children's faces. And they have, obviously, if they're his real kids, they have reason for that, right? He's a high profile guy. I get it. But you can't, my analysis, we don't know if it's his kids or not, Erica Kirk's kids. It could be, who knows, right? It could be, for all we know, it could be Erica Kirk's kids she may have had another mate in her background, a lover, who knows? So the point is, those kids, if they are real, you're never going to see them again. And they will be with Kirk on a beach if they are his kids, I believe, with this public extraction that took place.
Right. I'm just saying because I believe it was you who brought it up. Well, I know JJ spoke about it too, but I think it was you who, you made a big deal about the fact it's super interesting, right? That Erica was a big part of a nonprofit organization, right? And then Charlie has his own nonprofit organization, and you have these two separate nonprofit it's just it's like weird. It's just really weird,
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't usually happen, if ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These two are
Okay. Looks like Joe is ready, so I'm going to go ahead. If he's ready, I'm going to bring him to the stage.
What's up, everybody?
Joe, how are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Okay.
Good. How you hanging?
I'm good, man.
Short
I
shriveled
was
and
a little foggy this morning, but I recovered.
foggy or soggy? You said foggy?
Foggy. Well, I was foggy too.
Gotcha.
But definitely foggy.
How's Lee doing with his driving? You keeping him straight arrow there?
He did way better today.
Okay.
Yeah, we went up to Coeur d'Alene.
I caught the live. It looked like he was driving again. I was thinking, I thought Joe was going to drive today.
It was probably best that I didn't drive today. I had to nap on the way.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I wore Joe out with the late night drinking last night. By the way, Robin, if you can post the link for callers or people to join us on stage. I know I wanted to have 1111 on the show at some point, and she's backstage, or she's not backstage, but she's willing to come backstage and come on at some point. I might want to have a little conversation with her tonight on camera after we get through our introductions, but maybe put that link out there and have her queue up in the backstage if you're willing, and we can bring her up at some point here. But yeah, so
absolutely. Let me go ahead and grab
it seems like we've offered people to come up a lot of times and nobody ever takes us up on it. So
well, we had someone, we had someone last night, but it was kind of towards the end when you guys were ready to do your drive. So
yeah.
Okay,
it makes me a little.
He's in the chat. So 1111, if you want to come up whenever you are ready, I'll put you up there whenever you desire.
So I got something to. I guess while we're waiting for 11:11, so we're not always talking about the same thing every day. So this was from Substack. I'm hearing a little echo. I don't know who that's from. Okay, I guess it's gone. So this is from Annie's Substack. It's just a little short blurb, and I guess people, we may have we probably talked about it somewhere along the line, maybe a few weeks ago or whatnot. I know there's like a million different little nuances, but I just figured I'd mention it. So this thing is it's kind of about Murphy. So she says, who stole Murphy from the pound? Better question, who stole Murphy from the house? According to Bethany, Maddie came to her bedroom door asking if she knew where Murphy was sometime after 2:30 a.m. Bethany's cell phone records show that Maddie called her at 2:53 a.m. Bethany then said that Maddie called to tell her that she couldn't find Murphy. Was Murphy really outside of the house at 4:17 a.m. barking frantically because of attacks on four house roommates that he couldn't see happening? Did he really go back inside through the open sliding glass door sometime after 5 a.m. when his barking finally ceased? And then just go upstairs into Kaylee's bedroom until noon the next day without ever going into Maddie's bedroom where the massacre of his owner had occurred? So, what do you guys think about that?
I have always one of the theories I've always put forward is that there's a possibility that Jack got the dog out of the house because there was a possibility that he didn't want the dog in the house during something, and so and then the girls frantically calling over and over and over again Jack DeCourse because they somehow knew he took the dog, or they suspected he took their dog, and they were trying to find their dog, which would coincide with them all saying, look, the dog went missing, we don't know where Murphy's at, and now they're calling Jack. So were they calling Jack to find out if Jack took Murphy? Then did Murphy get returned to the house later? There's rumors that some people said that they saw Murphy get delivered to the house later after the murders. So was Murphy even at the house during the time that it happened? That's a question that I think is out there.
Yeah. And Murphy, to me, really is a much more crucial piece of the puzzle than many people think, because the thing is with Murphy is anyone who has a dog knows that most dogs traipse around, and they're, unless they're like highly trained, especially a puppy of Murphy's age, they're not just going to sit in a room. And that kind of leads me to believe that partly in the theory that they were not murdered in the house.
Well, no, I mean, and I think what you're saying is the same thing and maybe a different conclusion, which is it's one of the two, right? Like the most logical conclusion is it didn't happen there,
right?
And he was there, or he wasn't there and it did happen there. But putting the event there and the dog there is a problem, because again, that dog would have traipsed all over the place. It would have been covered.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
Yeah. So either the dog was either it happened there and the dog wasn't there when it happened, or like you said, it didn't happen there and the dog was there when it happened. But I'm inclined, if I had to put money on it, it did happen there, but the dog wasn't there during the time. But that's me. But
hey, you guys, did you ever see that Linda Lane video of a woman getting out of a vehicle that was parked? Yeah. And she looked like they were holding a dog.
Right.
Yes. Right. That's you're talking about in the morning. It was like 6 in the morning. You're talking about in the morning, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
I can't remember. I thought it was at night. I thought it was like late at night.
No, it was in the morning. It was in the morning.
It's in the morning. It's in the morning. Yeah. And it clearly, it definitely looks like someone's holding a dog.
Right.
I want to say it was between 6:30 a.m. and 6:40 a.m. somewhere in that area.
Okay. And it looked like the woman was tall.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
right,
right.
Yeah.
the rumor is that it's Dylan carrying the
Right.
dog back. Right. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and why does this is DA and I talked about this a lot today driving. The things that pop up, right? Some of the alternative footage that people got a hold of with, Linda Lane and whatnot. Why didn't the media ever look into that stuff and go, if it was an honest, quote unquote, investigative journalism situation, why wouldn't they go, oh, I wonder who that woman is carrying the dog at this time? Or why didn't they question the 8-hour delay? Why didn't they?
I'll
That's
tell you.
real
I'll
investigative
tell you my.
journalism.
I'll tell you my theory, and it sounds really, really conspiratorial-ish, which is one. Why didn't Moscow police ask a lot of basic questions that should have been asked, follow-on questions? And the answer to the why they didn't ask the questions is you don't ask questions you already know the answers to. They already
Right.
knew some of the answers to this question. That's why they didn't ask those questions.
Yeah.
To ask why media goes along with it, because media has learned if you want to have access to the police department, you play the game. You don't question the
Right.
police department. You don't get in their face, or you're going to get cut out of every crime scene. So the media takes their cue from the police department. They won't ask questions that the police department don't want to ask. So that's my answer to how that whole
Right.
thing happens.
Right. Well, my question was rhetorical. It was that there wasn't real journalism going on. That's why they didn't ask. They didn't dig.
We haven't had real journalism for a long time.
Right.
Right.
Come
But-
on,
and
yes
I
we
don't-
do. Yes we do. We got Nancy Gray. We got Ashley
Oh shit!
Banfield.
Right. I forgot Nancy
And I
Grace.
don't
Thank you.
and I don't believe that there was an actual 8-hour delay. So there was an 8-hour delay, yes, of what was released to the public, but I think that there were police officers already there way before, and that whatever the reason is, whatever it is. Remember, it's a small town. Whether some of these officers are compromised and they were just involved in the cleanup, or whatever it is, there were officers already there way before
like
that 8 hours.
Yeah.
I also think that what's his name, Ethan's brother. I think Ethan's brother was also there
Hunter.
a lot earlier.
Hunter, yeah.
Hunter. There's too many people with the same name. I mean, how many Hunters? How many
Right.
Jacks? It's like
So
Crazy.
before we get too far, I want to say this. I mean, a lot of the people here have heard us all talk about these same theories a lot. If 1111 is backstage, I'd love to have you
He's
pull her. I
not.
can't see. Oh, okay. Like I said, I'd love to have you pull her up because I know she has some comments about the Idaho case that it'd be nice to hear a little. And not to say that you guys don't have great perspectives, but to hear like a completely different perspective. Because again, a lot of people hear our conversations every night, and that's nothing wrong with it. I think it's still entertaining. I think we still have the same questions. I mean, Joe and I are still bouncing new questions around that we
Right.
haven't asked because there are questions that like, why wasn't this done? Why wasn't this done? Like,
And
know.
what some people have to remember too and realize that just because one officer or two officers or three officers may be compromised or have some kind of involvement doesn't mean the whole department is. So
right.
because
No.
I could tell you again, I know this is I know this conflicts somewhat like with Esty and I don't know, maybe possibly JJ, but again, from my perspective and my experience with showing up to crime scenes and all of what I have seen, I kind of agree with Lee that I felt that the body cameras of the officers responding to me felt authentic. Now,
Yeah.
obviously,
And let me-
if you right, so I felt I felt that they were authentic. Their breathing, some of the comments that some of their now could they be actors or whatever? Sure, I could I could buy into that. Anything is possible. But if you're going to go by that 4 people were killed, that it's not an extraction, that it did happen. To me, they were authentic, but there could be other officers whoever it is, whether it's Rosenthal, Tisdale, Payne, or whoever else, could have, could have a connection possibly to, the Aryan Nation or the drug thing or whatnot. Because remember, these people that have these connections, you don't think that some kind of drug cartel or whatever that they, this has happened in where I work with the NYPD a million times. They want
Well,
to have they want to have some kind of connection to the police. So not
right.
necessarily that the cops, that they would do the homicide or that they would
No.
be involved in the hit, but they would be contacted. Oh, hey, Officer X, hey, we got a mess over here. I need your assistance. You gotta get over here, and
So
I
I
could
want to make
easily see
another.
that.
I want to make another point that I don't make very often. I want to make another point, which is that I know that now that we've come so far, people aren't going to be able to step back and see this the way I'm seeing this right now, because it's almost impossible to see it the way I'm going to tell you. But I'm not entirely convinced they knew when this happened that this was going to be as nationally and worldwide of attention that it got. They thought
Right.
it
Oh,
could
I don't
be
think they were.
easy. They thought it was people were just going to easily accept the answer they gave them. So, and they thought and I think the true crimer community who started saying, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And if the journalists aren't going to ask the right questions, I will. I don't think they expected that. So I think they expected it was going to be easy to just kind of tell everybody what happened and everybody would just accept it and move on. And I don't think they realized the shitstorm they were in when
Right.
it became a worldwide case with people asking questions from literally all over the planet. Like, how the fuck does that make any sense? I don't think they expected that. And I know it's, probably some people are like, well, how did they not expect that? Why would the entire world not be interested in 4 murdered, students at a college campus? That would be huge. But did they really understand what they were dealing with when it happened? And they think it was going to be an easy thing to just kind of put a bow on and say, hey, we got it solved. It's all done. Did they really know what this was going to become? I don't think so. And I think it's one of those things that once you tell that one lie, now you're in deep shit, right? Because you don't want to admit you just lied on something because you thought it was going to be easy pill to swallow, and now you got to cover another lie with a lie because you've already committed. Like, in for a penny, in for a pound. So once they started to realize they fucked up and it was getting national attention, they were in. They had to continue with the story and the narrative. So that's kind of part of what I
Right.
think happened today.
Yeah. Well, I agree, and I think they vastly, and it really surprises me that law enforcement really anywhere in this day and age would kind of underestimate the true crime community and the true crime movement, and it's because of the distrust with our law enforcement and the bigger agencies, that people are digging in more than they maybe used to even 5 years ago.
And I want
Um,
to say this, Rob, and I want to add this to that equation. Don't let off the gas, true crime community. Don't let off the gas, because you are
nope.
replacing a failed mainstream media. Mainstream media no longer is journalism. They don't report things. They don't ask tough questions. They never will. And now we are, and we're FOIA-ing their asses. We're fucking putting in FOIA requests left and right. We're doing what the media used to do. It used to be the media that would FOIA request the fucking police. And now we're doing it. And
Yeah.
there's no big mystery why YouTubers are taking over, and CNN and Fox is scared the shitless about YouTubers because we're doing their job. We're doing what they
Right.
fucking have failed to do because they become paid minions of the system. They want to
Right.
get their
Right.
interviews with the police department. They want to stay good with the White House, so they don't want to rock the boat on any story. They just tell the story that they want to be told so that they get another news story. And now YouTubers are doing what they used to do, which is ask the tough questions, and they won't do it anymore. So don't let your foot off the gas. Like, we need to keep
Yeah.
keep putting in FOIA requests. We need to hire lawyers and prosecute people. We need to do the shit that they aren't doing anymore. But
And
Hey,
I'll tell
can
you.
I jump in real
Yeah.
quick?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing, because we did the drive around twice in the area, and for anybody that wasn't on the live when we did it, literally the apartment complex where Coberger lived and the one where Kopaka lived, the what was that called? The Pimlico, right?
Pimlico.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Pimlico. Yeah.
They're literally
Pimlico.
across the street from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Literally
they're
across
practically
the
touching.
street.
Yeah.
And so it's a college town, right? There's parties in those off-campus housing complexes all the time. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. And and Coberger was interested in the military. He was interested in law enforcement. You have a decorated veteran who was 82nd Airborne. It's like one of the most famous divisions in all of the Army, right? If they crossed paths at a party, they would start talking. The chances that they knew each other, seeing how close together they lived, in my opinion, is increased, right? So whatever you believe about what actually happened, their association with one another is a logical one. It makes logical sense. You can make logical connections. So whether you believe it was an extraction operation or it was a real, quadruple homicide, those two names are relevant, Kopacka and Coberger, to this case, period, right? Full stop. Because Coberger is either a patsy, he's either working for the feds. Kopacka, why did they try so hard to shut down any talk about Kopacka after he was killed? It was like they turned that page so fast.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Here's another thing, by the way, Joe. We didn't talk about this on the drive, but if I recall in the famous interview of Kopacka in June, where they asked him where he was living, and he said the Pimlico Apartments. They asked him what apartment number, and he didn't know his own apartment number. So in a way, you kind of go, well, was he staying at the Pimlico? Because they're like, what unit? I don't remember what unit it is. How do you not know what fucking unit you live in? Like, you have to literally walk to your door number to get in. You don't know the number to your thing. Now, what I'm saying with that is, again, that Pimlico Apartments is a stone throw from where Coberger was saying. People now are saying Coberger came out in June. Kopacka said in June, I'm staying at the Pimlico, but I don't know the apartment number. Were the two of them even potentially staying together? Could they have been staying in the same fucking apartment? Because one has to ask, how is it that Kopacka doesn't know his own apartment number? Did he just say the Pimlico Apartments because he knows the Pimlico Apartments is next door to where fucking Coberger was? Or were they staying at the, like, there's a lot of questions. And here's the thing, a lot of questions that basic police investigation should have maybe asked some of those questions, especially when people started saying, man, I think that guy might be involved. How come they didn't go back and go, hey, when did you get here? Was it June? Like, were you literally across the street from this guy? How about we ask some questions? Do you guys know each other? Were those questions asked? No, they were never asked. Why? Maybe they already know the answers.
Yeah.
So
I think it's that they already knew the answer, and I don't think that he met him at a party. I think he knew him from Pennsylvania.
yeah, I think, that's obviously what I think as well. Yeah.
I think he knew him from Pennsylvania. The chance that both of these guys are from Pennsylvania, not far, and both ended up over there in Idaho. I mean, those are some pretty good odds.
Now you can spin a really tall tale, and I don't know that I want to go there. And every night we're talking about Idaho 4, and I thought I was done with talking about Idaho 4 at some point, but here we are talking about every night. But there's a scenario in which Kopacka was hired because of his skills to do something, and he knows a guy, and had him come help out with logistics, or how do I get away with this because you study this kind of shit and we're buddies. How would you do it, kind of thing, that kind of scenario. Like, there's a million scenarios. And I guess at the end of the day is, I understand I can't prove any of that, but wouldn't they have been decent questions to ask in investigations if somebody told you, hey, I think these guys knew each other? Because I'm telling you, somebody told law enforcement, I think these guys know each other. I think these guys are connected. And they chose not to follow up on those questions or even ask questions. And again, I would say that's because they already knew the answer. I think the telltale sign is that unredacted document from the Idaho forensics pages that showed in December 5th long before they said they knew Coberger. Coberger's name was on one of theirs as one of 2 suspects. The other suspect's hidden. I really, really, really have a gut feeling that other one that we don't see is Kopaka. And that's why the judge mentioned Kopaka's name early on, because Kopaka's name was right beside Brian Coberger's on the piece of paper. They're right beside each other.
And I'll
Hey,
tell you what.
Complete sense.
I got
go ahead.
something for Estes Crime Maze. I want to hear him respond to
Thank
this.
God. All right, go for it.
All right. So when we were driving around, we commented, DA and I commented numerous times. You, Robin, you guys are all probably sick of hearing us say this, how close together everything is in the King Road area. It's way closer together than it looked like when we saw it all on the news and whatnot. Like the Sigma Chi is like right there. It's so close. It's a stone's throw from the 1122 house. The King Road house and the apartments, the famous apartments that are perpendicular to the King Road house are right. I mean, they're like on top of each other. So
Joe,
why would somebody, I
sorry.
just want to get Estes Crime Maze's take on this, because I don't know if he caught any of that footage, but why would somebody that was randomly picking a house pick a house that's literally practically connected to the houses all and the apartments all over around it? They're like right on top of each other. That's another thing that shoots that official narrative right out of the water, right? Because it's, you know, the lone wolf fucking bullshit narrative, because nobody would just randomly pick a house with 4 cars in the parking lot that is literally like, it's crazy how close together that stuff is in person.
God, I have so much more to say. Ask these
Do you
answers
have
first.
any kind of insight into just the idea that knowing that this stuff is like firsthand, is like right on top of each other there?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that it would be a huge risk, right, for any assailants to be able to actually do and take out the hit. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up, because hopefully you don't know this, and it might be sterling information. My favorite defense attorney, Alan Jackson, who defended Karen Reed, as you may know, that huge trial as well, right, case. He spoke out defending this Fraser Michael Bone, who had a car crash and killed 4 young university, beautiful female students, right? Pepperdine University. But I thought it was interesting. Alan Jackson brought up Brian Coberger, because he was saying about this rich preppy boy that did this killing, the car crash. This is insufficient for murder charges. He says these are the same murder charges as Brian Coberger, and he broke into a dorm and slaughtered 4 people, and he pleaded guilty. So I would, if I had a coffee or beer with Alan Jackson, I would tell him the theory that I've been discussing. Alan Jackson, Brian Coberger's the patsy. We've been talking about those students are alive. They weren't slaughtered, Alan Jackson, and here is why. And give him a whole list. But anyway, I'm done talking. Thanks. Your turn, DA.
Well, I just wanted to say, cameras are super deceptive, and I don't think it was done on purpose. I really don't. But like when you have a wide angle camera, like, you know, a dash cam camera or whatever, or even like these house cameras that you see, the Linda Lane footage and stuff like that, they're wide angle cameras and they grab a lot of shit, right? And the depth perception is off. And I always thought that neighborhood was a lot bigger, and that the roads were a lot longer. And when we got there, Joe and I were both literally stunned at how close everything was together. And it's not just the 4 cars at the house that night, or how many cars there were at the house. It's the fact that right next door is another 20 cars, and across the street is another 20 cars. That whole place is packed with cars. We just went in there. It's packed with cars. The houses are on top of each other, and you literally can look between 2 houses and see Linda Lane from King Road. Like, they are really everything is. I can't stress it enough. They're so fucking tight. That area is so tight. Those houses are packed together. But on camera, when I go back and look at it, I'm like, it looks like that car's driving all over this big, huge neighborhood and down other streets. It's super tight. It's ridiculous.
Thanks for bringing that perspective, Joe and DA, for getting down there. That's one of the reasons why you went down there, right? To show us this.
Yeah. And I wish I could show it to you on camera, because I don't know if I can show it to you on camera, because I'm shooting with the camera that might be wide angle. So I don't even know if I can can show it to you on how ridiculous. All I can do is give you firsthand testimony. I saw it with my own eyes, and Joe can say the same thing. We both were stunned at how close together everything is packed in there, and how many cars there were on that night. Like, we're here, you know, on one at the exact same night. It's packed there. There was people partying on balconies. There's cars everywhere. There's tennis shoes hanging from telephone wires nearby. That's a huge party area. The place is packed with people. Why would you even pick that house? It's a huge, packed, dense area. It's denser than any other place on campus, I would argue. Wouldn't you say, Joe? Did we see any place on campus that has houses that tightly packed together?
No, I mean, it's just a weird, and it's a little nook. Like that little section with where those apartments are. On the other side of those two perpendicular apartments is the Linda Lane apartments. And we went to the dumpster. We looked at the Linda Lane apartments. The road, you remember how there was a camera shooting down over the dumpster?
Yeah.
You know, you could see that.
Yeah.
That road looks longer, right? When you look at those videos, it looks like that's a longer road. That road is tiny. It's very
tiny.
short. It's very
it's
short.
a camera deception.
Yeah. And one of the things we talked about was that, remember, people are like, oh, there's no way the Linda Lane cameras would pick up sound. Guys, late at night, they absolutely would pick up sound coming from over that direction. If you saw in person how close together everything is over there, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of shocking, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. They, you know, in Dylan's interview, you know, when she's talking about how she saw the black truck outside her window, and that, you know, a lot of cars would go by her window or whatever, or go up the hill. There's a house at the top of the hill over there, 620, that supposedly has a lot of parties. So it's very, you know, you guys going over there and saying how closely packed everything is, it definitely brings more believability that some of the sounds and some of the voices that we hear on some of these cameras might not necessarily, you know, all be like, oh, this is all from 1122. Could be from coming up.
Yeah. Please let me comment on that. That place, in my opinion, is an easy echo chamber. There are walls everywhere. There are houses everywhere, and it's all tightly packed. So once again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but the reason why I'm so skeptical about, can't you hear on this video, you hear this? The sound bounces around all over the place.
Right.
It's densely packed. You don't know where the sound origination point is coming from. So that's my point. Like, I can't tell you, oh, you clearly hear Murphy bark. You hear a dog that could have been barking up, bouncing off of 3 houses in the area. I'm not even sure where the house is coming from.
Right.
So, anyways.
And I just wanted to comment, as someone who was watching you guys last night, you can see so much better when these guys were going around there, just what they're talking about, how closely everything is in relation to one another, the buildings, the band field. I mean, I was shocked to see just how close even the band field was to right across there. I mean, you know, and even the place where the car was parked, where the 3 college guys are standing with the cops. And I mean, it's so small compared to like when you see it on a lot of even like the body cam footage of the cops and stuff like that. I mean, it's really just astounding. And so if you guys haven't seen it, if you're not a member, I'm going to plug it. Become a member, $2.99. You're going to see all this footage, the behind the scenes stuff, get to hang out with those guys and stuff. But really, seriously, it is so much smaller, and
Joe,
you just have to see it.
I have to ask Joe, would you say if 1122 King was standing still and you stood on the roof of that house and you were an NFL quarterback, do you think you could hit the band field with a football? I think you could.
You could hit Sigma Chi.
Oh, yeah.
An NFL quarterback could hit Sigma Chi is way closer to the
Why don't you guys
road.
try that tomorrow morning?
I'm not an NFL quarterback,
There's
Nasty.
something to do.
All right. So I
Like
forgot.
when we
Oh,
drove
oh yeah.
past
Oh,
the
there's
band
there's
field,
that part. Yeah.
when we were driving past the band field, we drove past it a couple of times. I kept commenting, I can't believe how it's so much smaller than it appears when you watched it on the body cam footage. And Sigma Chi looked further back from the road
Yeah.
when you saw it, all the different videos that people took. It's like very close, way closer than I thought it was. And I was like, man, it's just weird when you see things in person. It shifts your perspective about things a lot. And the lot that the house was on, it's small. The
Oh
lot
God,
is
it's tiny.
tiny.
It's tiny. The slope behind the house, which I imagine was a big slope, is not a big slope. It's a pretty small slope. Like everything looked. I mean, I hate to make the bad pun, but everything looked a lot bigger than it really is. So it just, on camera, it looks, the depth perception is completely off from being here. And I don't know how I can show that to you because again, even I'm shooting with the camera, which will probably distort it. You have to. I don't want to. You have to stand there to see it. It was shocking to both Joe and I. I could tell he was as shocked as I was. Like, holy shit! How can it be that close? How can and how can it be that small of a lot? And how did that house right there not hear something? How would you not hear somebody screaming? Like every house there had to have heard that. Like I don't even. A lot of that makes no fucking sense when you stand there.
Exactly, Lee. Those are
I
my
get it. I
thoughts
get it.
too,
I get it,
dude.
SGs. I get it.
SD's Crimies, that's why I put that out to you. Because the
Yeah.
official story makes even less sense when you are there physically. When you see
Interesting.
how close together everything is. And we commented, I could not believe how small the lot was. Even with the house
Tiny.
gone,
Yeah,
the
it
lot
looks
is
big.
tiny.
It looks big, right? In the pictures, I mean, even you're like, how did they get four? I don't even know how you got 4 cars in front of that place. It's a tiny lot. Like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. It's like, it looks like it's a tiny lot. How'd you even get 4 cars in front of that place? I don't know. It's just fucking, I know people aren't going to be able to grasp that, but it's small. SM all. It's small.
What you guys should do is try. I know it's compact, and obviously you're trying to be respectful to the people who live there, who are over there. But I'd be super interested too to know how long it takes you to kind of like drive around, sort of in a circle in an area, kind of following the path that Rosenthal and Tisdale took.
So here's what I'm tempted.
Because they kept circling.
Yeah.
They kept circling that area. So
Well, okay, a couple things about that. Let me tell you that. You talk about Coberger's 3-point turn that he supposedly made. You have to make a 3-point turn because it's tighter than it's tight. There's no place to go. You have to 3-point turn to get anywhere, to get certain places. It's so much tighter than you think. So there's that part. There's a part of me that thinks, because I know tomorrow's our last day, right? So tomorrow's our last day, and I'm thinking there's a part of me that says, as soon as sun comes up, when everybody else is still kind of fucking sleeping or groggy or hungover from Friday night partying and shit like that, I'm going to go by myself and I'm going to walk the neighborhood and try to shoot with 2 different cameras. I'm just going to walk, and I don't want to draw attention to myself. I don't want people to be pissed off. I'm just going to make a quick walk to try to let you see just what I'm talking about, how fucking tight that whole place is. It's ridiculous. And if I could do it at a time where I can see it on bright enough screen so you guys can see it, it's not at nighttime, and where people are mostly asleep because they're whatever, maybe I can do it. And if worst case scenario, somebody tells me what the fuck you do and get out of here, I can get in my car and leave because I'm leaving anyways. There's a part of me that wants to go shoot that footage, and I might. I know that, again, I'm respectful to people. I don't want to be a looky-loo out there, and I'm not going to put cameras in people's faces, but there's a part of me that just wants to try to do whatever I can for you to see what we're talking about. It is ridiculously smaller than you think.
yeah.
So it would be very easy, like for feds to set up surveillance, do you think, and all kinds of monitoring the houses, if you know what I mean, the neighborhood. I don't know. Does that make?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I mean, if you wanted to surveil the area, there's a million places to surveil from. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you're getting at. I mean, I'm literally like, there's so many surfaces and rooftops that face the area, that face the house lot. It's insane. I don't know how to really explain it. And by the way, along the line, I don't want to say that this means somebody did it. So understand this. But there was a comment made. Oh well, someone. I'm not even going to name names. If you know the story well enough, you know who I'm talking about. So and so couldn't have done it because we saw him go back to his place for the night, and we never saw him come back out. Somebody else famous with the case said, "Well, there is a way that he can get to the house without being on camera." No fucking shit. That whole place has so many ways you could get to that house without getting caught on camera because everything's fucking tight. You can go through bushes, you can go between a building. There's a million ways to get to that house without getting caught on camera. So I'm just going to say that.
Am I allowed to tease anything that happened on the members only live last night?
Yeah, sure. I think so.
I mean, I don't want to like, you want people to want to do more members only lives, but I just, for the people that didn't watch the live, can I spill the beans a little bit?
What I don't know. What are we talking about?
One of your little one of our escapades last night.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
For anybody that didn't watch the live last night, we're driving and we had been filming and the camera wasn't plugged in, right? So the camera battery was basically on 0 and it was about to die. We were still driving around. So I go, "Oh, dude, your battery's dead." So DA's like, "All right, I'm going to, let me pull over. I'll change the battery. I got an extra battery." And it's, we're driving, we're trying to pay attention. DA turns the corner and pulls over to the side of the road. And he's like looking, and we look over. We're right in front of the Moscow PD. And I go, "DA, we're sitting right in front of the police station. We're stopped here." And then he goes,
the building's lit up like
pulls into the parking lot of the police station. I'm thinking he's going to turn around and then pull out. And he just parks in the parking lot of the Moscow PD and gets out and starts changing his battery. I'm like, dude, we were supposed to be inconspicuous. That's about as conspicuous as you could possibly be.
Well, they definitely know you're there now.
Jesus, I was like, dude, how is that being inconspicuous?
And I swear, I got spooked a little bit because there was no cars in the parking lot. We were the only car. I was like, "Well, where are all the cop cars?" Like, I guess they would be in the back of the building somewhere. Like, there was no cars in the parking lot at all. It's a small parking lot. Everything here is small. But anyways, small parking lot. But as I was sitting there and he's like, "Dude, like, why are we parked in the parking lot of MPD?" And I'm like, "Hold on a second. I just got to change the battery. It's no big deal." And then I saw, like, there's a revolving door kind of thing, or an automatic door, and I saw it move, like somebody was coming out to see who's parked in the front. And I'm like, "Oh, we're fucked!" Like, they're literally going to come out and ask what we're doing in their parking lot. And I don't know what I saw because nobody came out, but I swear I saw the door move, and I thought, "Oh shit, we're done." But no, we were okay. So,
and people are asking in the chat. I saw some questions in the chat. Yes, we did see the grub truck. We did go by a couple of times the building where the surveillance footage came from with Kaylee, Maddie, and Jack S. We drove by that a few times. We drove. God,
the corner club is small. But everything here is small, Joe. How that fucking corner club is small. Small building. Tiny. It's tiny. Yeah. I don't even know how you put more than 10 people in that thing. Yeah. Okay, it's not that small, but it's small. I mean, it's SMO. By the way, one more thing I want to say about people. I know I'm not good at addressing the comments, and I'm on a cell phone now pacing in a parking lot out here trying to make sure I don't get shot or stabbed. And so I've seen a few people say something about, "Hey, DA, thanks for being there. Thanks for being on the scene. Thanks for giving your perspective." I saw your comments. I wish I would have called you out by name when you said those things. So I am kind of catching those when I can, but I also have to be respectful for my guests and my panelists who are talking. So when I see it, sometimes you're buried in the comments by the time somebody gets done and pauses for a breath. So I just want to let people know I am seeing your comments, but I can't always respond, and then it's really hard to get back to it on my phone. So
I see a comment here from Lost Girl. She said it was never him in that car. They sped it up and messed with the auto. So Lost Girl, just to address that, I have to tell you, that's probably what you're talking about. That's probably the pivotal moment for me where I felt that something else was going on with this case. Not so much whether was Coberger there or not, or what car was he in, all that stuff with the car, when they had the court hearing, and Lee has covered this. It'll come up again. I know that they haven't fully released the document, and I don't know if they're going to. But the moment for me that this case turned into something else was when Hitler basically called Cy Ray a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Right.
Cy Ray, those of you who are into the case, you've heard him many times. I'm sure you know about it, but anyone that's doesn't know or you're new, Cy Ray is like the expert of cell phone data. He's basically equivalent to, if you wanted to have like some kind of forensic, like a forensic pathologist, some kind of forensics about a body, you would want Baden involved in this. Cy Ray is like the expert that has, there
Not
are other
only-
people. There are other
Yeah,
people
not-
who know, but Cy Ray is he is the expert who has gone around the country training. He's got 20 years of law enforcement.
It's more. It's
and
more.
this guy,
Right.
and this guy, this is the first time in his whole career that he was actually going to be a witness for the defense. He's usually a witness for the prosecution, for the state.
Right.
And this is the one time he's going to be a witness for the defense. And Hitler calls him a conspiracy theorist. So right when that happened, I'm like, what is going on? And what is going on in this case? This is ridiculous, and
it's more. It's even more than what you said. I say this all the time, but I'm going to do one more receipt on it. Not only is he not just a witness, he is the witness. He is the expert. He's not just an expert. He is the expert. He literally wrote the software that they used. Like he wrote the software. He wrote the fucking program that law enforcement uses, and he teaches law enforcement how to use the software that he wrote.
Right.
He's literally the expert. He's literally, and Hitler called him a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
Because the first time in his career, he was going to come forward.
I believe that Cy Ray can prove exculpatory evidence that Coberger, we have all these theories and whatnot that maybe he drove a Kopaka, maybe he was just there, maybe he didn't do the murders, all this stuff. That is the piece of evidence that, in this case, that is the piece that I want to hear more than anything else. I really want to hear what Cy Ray has to say, but he's still under gag order because the part that he's involved with has not been released. So,
Right.
All show
And I'd
trial.
like to just address this comment here real quick from Panda Hug to you. That's a cute name, by the way. It says, I'm always shocked that we have judges who know nothing about other fields to be the people to decide if it's valid. And that is such a great comment. How can you be a judge and not understand, not keep up on some of the newer technology and, kind of get to know these people who are going to be expert witnesses in your court?
Because
Right,
it was
but
a show.
Robin.
Because it was a show trial.
Robin, it's
I
worse
know,
than that.
but I'm
It's
saying
this.
this isn't the first case like this.
Right, but
So,
listen, it's
I
worse
don't
than
get
that, Robin. Hitler was given. Here's the thing: Hitler was given the curriculum vitae. He was given the resume of Cy Ray. He knows
Right.
his credentials. You can't pretend like it's not like he's just like defense. The defense always finds an expert. He literally read the guy's resume. The resume spells out exactly what he is and what he does. There's no way Hitler can play ignorance on. Oh, you're just a conspiracy. He's the resume speaks for itself.
And here's a big point with this too. My understanding, unless you guys can tell me I'm wrong. In my understanding, it's okay. He has his resume. He has all this stuff. It's not for Hitler to decide. This should have.
No.
This was the expert. This was the expert that the defense pushed forward, and they have what we say. They had the receipts to back it up. It's not for Hitler to make a decision on that. It's for the prosecution. If the prosecution says, "Oh, Cy Ray is a conspiracy theorist. He's a piece of crap. He's this. He's that." Well, that's for the prosecution to then either bring their own expert or for them to cross-examine Cy Ray. It's not for Hitler to make a decision like that. It's ridiculous.
You nailed it, dude. You nailed it. You're absolutely right. The judge's job is not to fucking tell people who's credible or not. That's the jury's job. His job is to be referee, and if there was a reason why he shouldn't have been there, to explain why. Him making a judgment call, you're a conspiracy theorist and we don't need to hear your testimony. You're right. Absolute asinine. That's not his fucking role. That's what tells you it was a joke sham trial. And that's what tells you, for those who want to question me on the whole, why would somebody plead guilty to something they didn't do? It was not a real trial. He knew it wasn't there was never going to be a chance. When you call the leading expert on timing advance records a conspiracy theorist, and you make that determination instead of letting the jury figure it out, that was never a fair trial. It was never a fair trial. That's my opinion. So he was doomed. Like, whether he did it or not, he was doomed.
Can I drop a new theory?
Yeah. That's all we need is another one. Because I've got like 37 right now. Which
I know,
got another one?
we're in Idaho, and if we're gonna drop new theories, this is the place to do it.
Oh shit!
What if?
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Ready for this? Jason Estes crime maze.
We lost you.
What if the extraction?
I think I'm ready. Sorry about that.
What if the extraction had nothing to do with their safety? What if Othram Labs, in the launching of their global operation, partnered up with the same people that were funding the grant from the DOJ at WSU, and to launch, and it's an operation. It's obviously it's an op, but they set up this extraction not because of the safety of the students, but because it would be a money grab, and they would fake, again, psyop, to launch this Othram Labs program, and also in conjunction with the grant that WSU got to study off-campus crime. So what if those two things are really what fueled an extraction?
Yeah.
I love that, dude. I got to write that down or play that clip from you tonight over and over again starting tomorrow till I have it memorized and talk about it on my videos. If you don't mind, I will accredit you.
Yeah,
That's great.
for sure.
That's awesome.
For sure.
And listen, here's another part. Listen, Joe and I talked about this when we talked about that theory. I don't know if it can be proven or not. This is one of those things that I need to get to be a better researcher. There was like $1 million grant from the NIJ to study, this is what we're talking about, the money, follow the money. There was like $1 million grant. I want to know, can we track, did Othram Labs receive any of that money? I'm just curious, because that would raise questions to me. If Othram Labs received any of the money from the NIJ grant of $1 million to the lab to study crimes in an off-campus situation, I'd like to know, can we follow that thread? Can we see where the money got paid from the $1 million grant? I'd like to know if Othram Labs was the recipient.
Yeah, it's just another thread to pull.
Love it.
And I think that it's like, it's a pivot, right? It's a pivot off of the main extraction theory, because if money, as I always say, whenever big money and power are involved, you can usually pull that thread. And if we went to CrimeCon, we saw the presentation by Othram Labs, and when we were like, whoa, this is like a fundraising operation. And if that was a way to launch Othram Labs, right? Big capital is behind Othram Labs. So if that would have been a way to launch Othram Labs in conjunction with the NIJ grant, right, in that area, then an extraction operation.
Maybe, but I think, It's a brilliant theory, Joe, but I think if you look at, again, that USC code 31 WITSEC, if you've got a confidential form, as I keep saying, it's been compromised, and we've all thought that there's a confidential form in this case, most likely with all the drug investigations, right? And so I think then that explains the staged crime scene and stuff. But your theory is it's very, very interesting, and maybe it makes even more sense. I'm not sure, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just
one
I'm
of
just
the
Can you
spitballing, you
hear me?
know.
Lee,
one
I
of the
have
That's
things.
great.
a potential answer. It says Courtroom Labs has not received a direct grant from the NIJ. Instead, Courtroom partners with other organizations such as RTI International that receives NIJ funding. And this also includes the NamUs resources.
So if I'm hearing you
So,
right, uh, what you're saying is so far your quick research says you can't find a direct payment to Othram, but you can find a third party payment. Like
right.
they're in connection with the company that got money from the
Yep.
grant.
Yep.
Yeah, not a surprise. And you'd want to hide if there was something nefarious going on and you didn't want people making the connection, you'd want to put a third party in between you. So you wouldn't want your name directly being on the paperwork saying you received money on the deal.
Yep.
That's some good on the fly research there, Robert. I'd have to verify your receipts, but it sounds like you did some good research right on the fly. Fantastic.
Well,
But
just
anyways, and
a
I'm not
little
saying it's
quick.
true, but look, and Othram Labs raised millions of dollars in the year or two before leading up to this thing, millions of dollars in private funding. And again, that's private funding. We don't get to know who invested in Othram Labs. I remember the first time I met Joe, the very first time I met Joe, and we sat
What are you
at
dissing me?
CrimeCon. Huh? So yeah, so the first time I met Joe when we were at CrimeCon, I said to him, "Boy, I'd love to find out what companies are invested or who's invested in Othram Labs." And then we looked it up and found out, well, it's like private investors. You can't track who funded them, of course, because again, if there's something nefarious going on, private investors, you can't follow where the money came from. You can't. What I first wanted to know is who bought stock in Othram, because I was like, oh, if they're publicly traded, somebody who knows that they're about to blow up and become the biggest name in true crime across the globe, right? Someone's going to want to have invested. Who invested crap tons of money in Othram? Well, the problem is they're not publicly traded. It's all private funding. So you can't find out who invested and made tons of money when Othram blew up and became the biggest thing on the face of the planet. But again, I can't prove any of that shit. It sounds a real conspiratorial. One more thing I'm going to say before I decide what I'm going to do is I'm literally walking around the streets of Moscow yelling how Hitler's not a fair judge and Othram Labs sucks dick and all these things. And I'm probably maybe not in the best place to be talking as loud as I am. But anyways, I just thought I'd point that out. But
Well, I have 1111 backstage. I'm gonna
oh,
bring her on
yay.
up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So one moment here. 1111, welcome.
Hello.
Hey,
How's everybody doing?
good. Welcome to the show. Thanks for taking me up on my offer. I've been trying to get you on the show for a while. So hopefully you can share some thoughts. I know that you've had some thoughts. Do you want to jump in now, or do you want to wait until something comes up that you want to comment on?
Goodness, only if you guys have couch time.
I do.
Oh, I don't even know where to start. I feel
Right.
like conspiratorial angles aren't really my lane. I feel like mostly about the Idaho case, there's gaps, and not just little gaps. It's gaps in places that actually matter.
Yes.
So one of the biggest red flags for me is the timestamp inconsistencies. One random clip being off by a day, sure, that could be technical. I'm a nerd for a living, so I know things like that. The time change, daylight savings time, all of those things go into consideration. But when the only misstated clip is attached to a moment that the state relies on heavily, that's when my eyebrow stays furrowed.
Yep.
And I'm not married to any theory. I'm married to the incoherence of the whole thing. And to put it bluntly, once the story stops wobbling, that's when I'll stop digging. And yet I have not. So
So let's if you don't mind, let me ask you two questions. I don't know if you saw. So like you said, I can understand a timestamp being off a day. I can understand a timestamp being off an hour because you didn't adjust for daylight savings time. I can understand those things. Do you have thoughts on, this is one of two questions. Do you have thoughts on 1 hour, 7 minutes and 26 seconds? Where would you get the seven? Like, again, a 1 hour difference in time can be explained by, a simple daylight savings time clock didn't switch over. But do you have any thoughts on the weird anomalies of the supposed 1 hour, 7 minutes and 26 second anomaly?
You're talking about the Grubhub?
Body cam footage, I think.
The Grub truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grub truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like it's an odd time. It's not an easy mathematical explanation by, I mean, sure, cameras, time clocks slip sometimes, but I don't know. Didn't know if you had any thoughts on that. If you don't want to weigh on that, I'll give you the second question, which is, did you see my footage at all in my question about why the widely reported accident where two people were struck by a drunk driver on November 12th, and all the cameras on the police car, the body-worn cameras of the police officers are off by a weird ass number. Like, the event happened at 11:40 p.m. on November 12th, and all the body cameras for the officers are November 13th at about 8 o'clock in the morning. How do you explain that kind of time difference?
Okay, so I watched live last night. This is what you're talking about, correct? You were talking about this last night with live.
I can't remember if I talked about it last night. I talk about it a lot, so maybe, yeah.
Or it was the other night. Anyways,
yeah.
I actually did not ever see that before you talked about it. So that was new to me. But I am very heavy on the Brent Kopacka angle, as you are. I've looked a lot more into that than a lot of other people have. I don't think people have given that more than a second glance. There's so much to it, so many layers.
And you said you're into technical stuff. So what do you feel about, how whatever happened with the 911 call and whatever he was executed or whatever happened with that? How could his phone be factory reset? I mean,
geez, I don't even have an answer, and I'm a nerd for a living. Like I do coding and like
right.
There's not there's not even a off the cuff answer I could offer that might make sense.
Because they even interviewed one. I believe showed it in the video that he did interview with one of his close friends. His friend said, he wishes that he had been there. He probably would have been able to talk Kopacka down or change the situation. The interviewer even asked his friend about the phone. His phone was factory reset. What do you think? And his friend, like, he couldn't even give an answer. Like, it just makes no sense.
All they said was, that's super fucking weird. But that's super fucking weird. I mean, that was their exact words. Super fucking weird. And like Joe said, to beat a dead horse to death, because that's what I tend to do. Like Joe said, if you had taken any one of these things in a high profile case, like, oh, this guy's phone was factory reset, if that was it, you might be able to go, well, we don't have the answer. It's just a weird anomaly. How many fucking anomalies are in this case? It's not one thing. Do you realize how many weird shit there is with this? It's not just one thing. If there'd be one thing we could overlook it and say, you know what, maybe we don't know, but the answer's got to be there. It's one thing. It's not just one thing though. It's a whole bunch.
That's why I'm really disappointed with my former girlfriend, Nancy Grace. We dated many years ago. She's a wonderful woman overall, but she's a little bit older than me, but that's okay. But no, Nancy has let us down, and Ashley Banfield, because DA and 11 Joe and Robin, would you agree? I've never heard them really discuss the anomalies in this case, including the cool guy, but Joshua from Courtroom Confidential. I guess he was a Brian Coberger guilter by the sounds of his videos. But anyway, it never ceased to amaze me. They didn't dig in and really tell you the truth of this case, in my opinion. I think it's obvious. Would you guys agree or not?
Absolutely. They only pushed the
Yeah.
narrative, which is
Right.
what their pockets are getting lined for.
Right. We
Yes.
don't have investigative journalists anymore. The media doesn't do
No.
investigative journalism anymore. They don't look into or ask the questions. They just repeat what the narrative is, and tell you how to feel about it. So
Exactly. We're
Thank
not
you,
live,
Jack.
are we?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes.
No, I
we're
was just
live.
saying, we're not live, are we? This is going to be on forever if it's live that I said I dated Nancy Grace. What
Yeah.
am I on?
I was Jason. I was gonna warn you. There's a fine line between humor you think everyone gets and defamation or libel or whatever. So you got to be careful when you say, "Hey, we used to date," because not everybody understands that was supposed to be a joke, or maybe it wasn't a
Thank
joke.
you
If you
for that
dated her, you have to
reminder.
come out and say, it.
Nancy, thank you for that reminder. Just real quick. It was a joke, Nancy Grace. I am completely joking. We never dated, but I do have some respect for you, Nancy, but not on the Idaho 4 case, in my opinion. That's all.
Yeah, it's tough because I mean it's funny because when you say things in jest, I mean all kidding aside, like some people are looking to shut down channels like us or whatever. They're just looking for any excuse for you to say something, and you're going to say, "Everyone knows I was joking." And you're like, "No, the words out of your mouth was," and you're hung. So you just got to be careful. We do have a disclaimer on the front of my lives and on my videos that says, "Hey, everything here is opinion and not facts and whatever," for a reason. Because of that very reason, we try to protect us. But yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted your guest. Please continue.
Oh, you didn't
you gotta,
interrupt me. You're all good. So
I
let's
like-
go back to. Go ahead, DA.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say I like 1111 that you, like me, and several other people are not willing to let the Copaca thing go. Like we like again, no disrespect to the family, and I will feel as bad as anyone for continuing to bring it up. But there's unanswered questions that law enforcement never followed up on. That story, that thread, I think has to be pulled until we can put it to rest. And that's the thing. Like some of us are not willing to let it go yet because I don't think any investigative journalism was done. Any true questions were asked. There's so many things that need to be explained. And so I'm glad that you're one of the people that are like, man, I'm not letting that story go yet. So.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I have a question for Detective Mowry. Detective Mowry.
Wait, he's in here?
Are you listening to Kenny G right now? Is Detective Mowry listening to Kenny G?
Oh, yeah,
That's the
Detective
question I
Mowry
have
is
for
in the house.
Detective Mowry.
Hey, honey.
Don't do it, Detective Mowry. You know, and I know you know. Okay, so DA, let's go back to the technical nerdy part because I will nerd out all day.
All right.
Again, it's what I do for a living. So
Yeah.
please, one, with all due respect, correct me if I'm wrong because I don't personally know a body cam specifically. I'm just talking from like a super back end standpoint, like the super nerdy technical coding end of it. So in my simple human mind, body cams don't auto sync unless they're manually updated. So if a department is, let's say, like sloppy with their maintenance, or some are, you can absolutely get body cam A has the correct time and body cam B, it's drifting behind or it's a little bit ahead. So that would explain that 7 minutes. So it shift changes that never resets the device. It could be officers swapping body cams without resyncing them.
Yeah. So I want to reiterate your question for one because he does work with Axe and body cams, right? So
Yeah.
do you know one how they keep their time synced? Is it when they get docked? Are they using GPS? Are they connecting to something? Like, how do they keep their time synced?
Can I make one more point really quick?
Yeah.
Just to finish it. So this excuse, I guess I can call it, just because I'm not a professional in that field, only holds water if all of the footage from that device is off by the same amount. So if only
Right.
certain clips are off by exactly an hour and 7 minutes and others aren't, that's when it stops being a maintenance issue and starts being something else.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Great. So do you have any kind of insight on that?
So as far as I know, when we plug in our camera, it's auto. The time should be. I have never. We've been using the Axon body camera for probably a good 7. We've had some different, some newer cameras and whatnot. I have never seen a problem with time being off ever in all of the cameras, that all the body camera footage that I've seen.
Well, I guess one of my questions is, are they cellular connected and getting time off of a tower, or are they manually set in software? Do you know how do they get their initial time and time syncing? How do they sync time?
I'm pretty sure it comes off of the software.
Yeah.
But in my full experience of using it, I've never seen any issue with time.
I'm so baffled. I'm so it's not just, again, and I don't want to get super technical with everybody, although 1111 maybe that's the person to get technical with, but you can see drift of a clock if the clock's, like on some devices, like on a PC, if the battery's starting to run low, you can see drift of the clock, and you can see it starting to lose time, and eventually it'll lose enough time that you start noticing the difference and whatever. But that's not what we have here. It doesn't seem like it's not a drift. And if you saw a drift, you'd be able to see it in other videos where you can see that it's not as far behind as it was in another video, because you can see the drift. It's nothing like that, right? So that's ruled out. Like I'm trying to.
Yes, I see a question here from Mama J. How about can they change the time of the body cams manually? So again, this is a small department, so I'm not sure who maintains their cameras and whatnot. In NYPD, we have a body camera unit, and they're pretty strict about the integrity. Like even if I had, let's say I activated my camera while I'm taking a piss, and I have the camera on, I don't have the access to just go in and delete that video. There's like a whole report I'd have to fill out. I'd have to reach out, and then, there would have to be a supervisor that would have to. It can be, the video could be deleted, but I wouldn't have access to do it. Now, this is a small department in Moscow. I don't know what kind of levels and integrity levels that they have maintaining their camera. Is this something that Kane could just go in the other room and load up software and change? I don't know. And here in NYPD, we wouldn't be able to do that.
And you make a great point that I feel like I want to make sure people understand. It should be common sense that you would hold even your law enforcement officers to a higher standard, to say, look, what if we did have a bad cop? If we had a bad cop, he's just going to turn off his camera when he's going to do something illegal or harass somebody or use excessive force. He'll just turn his camera off. So you're going to make it so that an officer can't do that, or there's a major problem if he turns it off and that doesn't explain himself. Like you would have to, because you have to assume you're going to have a bad egg sometime, and you have to have protocols to make sure that shit's not happening. So
right, and we have mandatory activations for many jobs, and you get severely disciplined if you don't have your camera activated. So
yeah.
My brain is going off like a switchboard right now.
Being that you brought up the camera, I know there's so many names in this case. Who was the officer again that found the knife sheath? Was it Gunderson or
Payne? I don't know.
No, I think it was Payne.
You think it was Gunderson?
I think it was Payne.
Gunderson.
Payne's body cam is him walking up to Kaylee's door, and he's
You're
standing
right. You're
there,
right.
and he's like,
You're right. I think it was Payne, and
"Oh my
whoever it was, whoever the
Snake.
officer was that discovered the knife sheath, I believe they had some kind of former discipline, or they had some issue where they had a problem with activating the body camera. How crazy is that?
In fact, that was what. So yes, I thought Gunderson was the first person there, and that Payne was the one that found the knife on the second pass. And one of the things I said was, Ann Taylor had been filing a Brady violation type of thing. That there was a suggestion that an officer had been reprimanded, just like you're saying, that there was potentially something in an officer's background that indicated that he may not be the most reliable person to have found the fucking key piece of evidence.
Right.
So yeah, right.
Hey, regarding the knife sheath aspect, and something that DA and I spoke about quite a bit today, because we went back to the apartments today during the daytime to film how close together they were. We talked about the fact that Kopacka was 82nd Airborne. He was a Purple Heart recipient, right?
Wow.
Payne was 82nd Airborne. Is that right?
Same combat division, and that's the weirdest
Same
part.
division.
Like,
based at Fort Bragg. A really controversial stuff went on at Fort Bragg. Is it possible that they knew of something right out of the gate, that Kopacka might have been involved, and they didn't? That would bring a lot of bad PR to the military, right? Which they never want. They already have problems recruiting people in the last several years. So is it possible that they would cover something up to save
the reputation of a Purple Heart. Yeah.
Yeah, especially for a decorated vet, 82nd Airborne, and Payne is 82nd Airborne. So if he's the one who found the knife sheath, that raises the question about the whole theory of the knife sheath being planted, because you know, this is where it gets where I always talk about when big power and big money are involved, right? That would be a logical hypothesis that they would not want it to be pinned on a decorated war veteran from one of the most famous divisions in all of the Army, right? The 82nd Airborne. So it's very suspicious that he's the one who found it, right? He happened to be 82nd Airborne also. So that's just a question to be raised and to be analyzed a little bit.
Yeah. 100%. And again, the connection points there are numerous. I feel like some people are going to be either so tired of this discussion, but again, let's say, because like a lot of people will counter the whole, okay, yeah, they're in the 82nd. Let me go through a little bit of the logic. Yeah, okay, so what? They're in the 82nd Airborne. Do you realize how big the 82nd Airborne is? It's ridiculous, DA. There's like 40,000 people in the 82nd Airborne. That means nothing that they're in the same division. Okay, but that's not the problem. They were also in the 4th Combat Team Division, the same exact combat team. That wasn't even a thing. There was only 3 combat teams. They added a 4th at a certain time. They both served in the 4th Combat Team, which makes it really weird. But then people are like, oh, DA, you're a nutbag. They weren't in the military at the same time. Okay, but again, there's a brotherhood. There's a soldiers who fought together in the first place feel a brotherhood. You're in the same division, 82nd Airborne. You've got even a stronger brotherhood. You're in the same fucking combat team. You've even got a stronger brotherhood. And then you add the factor is, okay, so you've got VAs, vets go and sit down in VAs. You served in 82nd. I served in 82nd. Now all of a sudden you've got a buddy that it doesn't mean you served in the same place, but you have a kinship and a brotherhood towards that person. So again, going down the logic hole here, could a person say, I'm not having this shit pinned on a fucking Purple Heart recipient, one of my brothers who I fought with, or in that same combat division, because there's a brotherhood there, and I'm not letting that shit be pinned on another fucking soldier with PTSD and blaming this shit on that kind of stuff. And so it just leaves the question, did somebody want to just protect some reputation and didn't want that shit coming out? Is it that difficult of a question?
It's possible, but if it's all theater, And Kopaka maybe connected to military intelligence. Awesome that he has a Purple Heart, right? That maybe he was groomed and took a position like like I think Brian Coberger did, and many people do, that he was like an actor, a patsy in all this, tied with the Fed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always tried to keep open to any possibilities that I can make logical connections for. So like if the psyop angle, the extraction angle, I give that credence because I can make logical connections why that would happen. So I don't dismiss anything if I can make logical connections. And so I'm just steel manning different arguments, you know what I mean? Since none of us know the truth for sure, I'm trying to break down like possible aspects, right? Some other potential ones. And like I always say, you find a thread and you pull that thread, right? And see how far you can pull the thread. And the whole 82nd Airborne angle, you're talking about the US Army, right? You're talking about like a major PR thing that would be really a big blow to the PR, presentation of the Army, especially a decorated veteran, 82nd Airborne. So I'm just sort of like pulling on threads, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I try to keep open anything I can logically connect. I try to keep open to it.
And I want to be careful when I say this because I'm not accusing a cop of corruption, but I'm asking questions. I do want to ask the question. It's not an accusation, it's a question. How much control, and maybe one can help answer this. I don't know if one working with NYPD can answer how things work in MPD in Moscow, but the point being is how much control over evidence collection, evidence handling, the records on who tampered with what or saw something or got into evidence. How much control could the lead detective or the lead over that investigation have? If you had a corrupt lead, how much could be covered up by one person? It could,
a bunch.
A bunch, yeah. A bunch.
If you guys saw some of the stuff that I've seen, you would blow a gasket. Even where I am with some of the mishandling of evidence and I can't stress enough maintaining the integrity of a crime scene and obviously bagging evidence and tagging the evidence. The chain of custody is enormous, and if you guys saw what so many detectives do with some of the evidence, you would blow a gasket.
I can't believe you just brought this up, because this is literally like the next point I wanted to bring up. Was kind of a question I had for everybody or anybody that wanted to answer. When do you think the chain of custody becomes unverifiable? So like when a judge can't allow evidence. So with uncertain timestamps, uncertain handling, the integrity of the case, especially with digital evidence in this case.
Well,
it's a good question.
It is a good question. I mean, you can only really it's tough because looking at the chain of custody of the evidence, like what we deal with every time a piece of evidence is taken out or they have to bring it to court or they're looking at it, it's all we have it all goes through a computer system here. But could that be manipulated? Like you put a certain thing in the computer system saying, oh yeah, it was transferred here, but on like for example, I could put in the computer system that I'm transferring. We got a bloody knife that's vouchered here, and it has to go to our lab. I could put like, oh yeah, it's being transferred tonight, and it's going to the lab. So all the computer just sees, okay, yeah, I put in that I sealed it. We have a certain number that's associated with us, not a shield number. It's a different number, and you have to sign your name saying that piece of evidence is sealed, right? But who's to say that I don't put in the computer system, yeah, the evidence it's sealed, and I'm putting, oh yeah, it's transferred to the lab, and it doesn't happen until tomorrow or 2 days from now. So according to the computer, yeah, the chain of custody was maintained, but it actually wasn't maintained.
Right. Let's talk about this a little bit more in granular. In the Idaho state documents that were recently dropped, over 2,000 pages, they listed a bunch of packages with chain of custody. They pointed out 3 chain of custody problems. This package number 9, came in with no evidence tag at all. So I put one on it and I signed it. That's
Crazy.
A problem.
Yes.
That's a problem, right? How about the one? This evidence thing had an evidence seal on it that appeared to not be tampered with, but no one had signed it. So I went ahead and signed it. That's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
That's a major problem. Anybody could have slapped that evidence sticker on that. And the fact that you don't have the initial officer's signature is a problem.
Yeah. All of them. All those pieces of evidence should be thrown out.
And from what I understand, all that I heard was Hitler was unhappy with the way that some of the evidence was handled in this case. Not going to stop the case or toss it out, but he's just unhappy with how some of the evidence was handled.
And to bring up another thing, I'm not saying that it can't happen. Obviously it can happen, but my understanding, I'm not a DNA expert, but from my reading and what I've heard about with particular with the knife sheath, so they got the touch DNA, they got Coberger's DNA from the button. And my understanding is that brass or nickel degrades extremely fast. So it's also quite interesting that they were able to pull his DNA from that.
Here's a problem with that I don't talk about much. Here's a problem with that. Unless I missed something, and I need to go back and look, but they finally showed the knife sheath. And I told you, my first question is, did they clarify in the documents? And the answer is no, I don't think. Did they clarify in the documents that the knife sheath you see in their pictures is even the actual knife sheath, or is it just the one they bought on Amazon and are showing you with as examples where they took the swabs from? That's problem number 1. We don't even know for sure that's the actual knife sheath. Secondly, unless I missed it, there's no circle around the snap. There's no, so it was on the strap. It was on the strap. So I didn't see a circle on the snap. But you're right. Like, there was a lot of discussion about whether the brass would have degraded the DNA, whatever. But when I was looking for the location where it was taken, I didn't see a circle on the snap. I saw the circle on the strap. So there's a lot of problems. But I don't know. I've got more questions than I have answers.
And I think that's par for the course with this case.
I got this case figured out, so that's okay.
Oh, actually, did you get it from Pavarotti? Because he broke this case a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
What about
No, that's where Pav and I are going to have an interview one day, and we're going to discuss it, and we're going to see who's right and who's wrong.
What do you?
I know I'm right.
What did 11 was trying to say something? What did?
I'm just yapping. What the system was down. I can't remember exactly. I don't know if it was a TikTok or if it was YouTube or if it was real, what the hell it was. But the whole system was down. If you go back and way back, everything was down from there was a period of time, the time frame was between the 12th and the 13th. So if that was the case, that would have messed up everything. And that would also be the reason technically why they have Google Earth blocked off all the way back to before 2007. You can't look at that entire area.
11, I don't know if you heard that. This is, I'm going to go in the way back of my memory. So I can't prove receipts. This is way back in my memory, way back in the beginning of this case. There was a phone call I heard that was recorded and played on YouTube of a guy that was calling in a tip to the FBI. And he said, by the way, I was looking at the University of Idaho's page, their website, and the website had gone down, and the guy was like, why does that matter? And he's like, because all of the security cameras tie into the same system. If the website went down at the U of I, they lost security cameras too. And that was it. It was that interview has disappeared off the internet. I can't fucking find it. I'm glad you're saying yes, because it sounds like you remember this as well.
Yes,
that was a big
I'm
deal
sorry,
too.
I'm screaming while you're talking. Yes, 1,000%, and that's exactly why. So in my head, in my nerdy head, because I keep coming back to this standpoint, because that's what I do. In theory, if any digital evidence system, so a body cam server, upload platform, timestamp sync system, whatever it be, had an outage during the period evidence was uploaded, reviewed, or transferred, then
Bada
it
bing.
would all be off.
Right. So, I mean, like, here's the thing. I mean, a bunch of us, I saw other chats, people like, I remember that. Like, a bunch of us remember that. Is this some kind of freaking Mandela effect and it didn't happen? Or did it happen and why have we not heard about it anymore after that? Did it get verified that never happened? That the website didn't go down, that they didn't lose time? Did that get proven that was a fake call, or did that really happen?
Well, one of the things I was going to say about that, and people are going off in the chat, by the way. Big ups to everybody in the den. People are dropping bombs in there. There's school buildings just around the corner from the 1122 house. So whatever, if it was an operation, whatever angle you think that operation took, like if it was an extraction or if it was some kind of cover up or something, if the school having a lot of control in that area, if they shut down the system, that could conceivably the direction of travel, let's say, of someone that was involved in either an extraction or involved in the actual, the crimes. There could have been, they could have known a direction to travel if they knew that the cameras were going to be down. So, like, remember, DA, we went past buildings on the campus, and then you make that right, and then you turn, and the band field's right there on your right. So if there was going to be a particular route of travel, either to extract people or for people that were involved in the crime, and they wanted to have at least as much as they can control it, a less visible direction of travel getting out of there or in there too, in and out.
It's funny that you mentioned it, because you're jogging my memory, Joe. If I remember right, that initial phone call where they were asking, why is it significant that the website went down? Well, because the cameras went down. Why is that significant? The Banfield was listed because the Banfield video went down. I remember that being part of the discussion.
Right. And I guess the point is, like, this adds to what we keep saying. If there's just one anomaly, if there's two anomalies, yeah, that raises questions. But when there's dozens of anomalies that all happen at the same time, I would say that it can't be by chance. It's not impossible, but it's highly, highly improbable. So, that again points to some kind of an operation, whatever that operation is.
For sure.
Right? I don't have the answer, but
according to mainstream media, as you know, it blows my mind, these journalists, even though Nancy does some good work on other cases, in my opinion, but that they don't discuss this, and that, as you know, there's something else I wanted to say on that. I can't remember what it was. So
I know your infatuation with Nancy Grace distracts you. You start thinking about a beautiful woman, and you just lose your fucking mind. I get it.
Well, anyway, I just brought that up
else,
because
not to do with Nancy.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say it's another link in the chain that points to an operation that also happened on top of everything else. And another thing too, I'm gonna have to, again, I'm gonna go to the extraction thing really quick. There's always been a lot of discussion about the times. What time did this take place? What time? The 8-hour delay. Well, another reason for an 8-hour delay could be that if it was an extraction, you would want to have the people being extracted out of there before anyone called 911, because you'd want them to be out of the area. They'd have to be away from that area. You don't want to have somebody's ring camera recording a minivan or some type of a government vehicle leaving the area, right? And people have already heard about the crime. Their ring cameras are going to pick that up. So you would want that to take place before the 911 call was made. So that's another thing that we discussed. So that's just another thing to throw out there.
I like that, Joe.
Well, there you are.
I think that's what took place where you said describe.
I just about pissed myself right there, actually. The paranoia just got to me.
DA's trying to be low profile, yet he pulls into Moscow PD's parking lot last night after bashing one of their officers, and he's saying he's trying to keep a low profile. And what is he doing? He's walking around outside in Moscow.
I know. Here's what just happened, and it's going to sound paranoid. Here's what just happened. I'm first of all, I'm getting rained on. It's raining right now. I'm getting soaked out here. I'm getting wet and not in a good way. I'm in the back part of this parking lot, and I'm all by myself in this corner, away from all cars. And a black SUV pulls real slow into the parking lot, lights me up, and then starts to speed up towards me. And I thought to myself, "It's over. I just got shot on fucking camera." And then they left. And so I got scared a little bit from that. I was like, what the hell's happening right there? But they left, so it's all good.
Yeah, and by the way, everybody in the den who didn't watch the live last night, DA is exactly like you think he is in person.
Awesome.
That's funny that you saying it.
I meant to say earlier. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
You sure? Just a short sentence. To Joe's point, I meant to say mainstream, lamestream media, they never mentioned or entertained the idea, of course, that this was an operation. An op, in our opinions.
And they never will.
No. Shame on them. Sorry, go ahead. Thanks for letting me say that brief sentence there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If I could have the honor of nipping at Detective Mowry as Birdie does in his channel, just because he's here, and because it kind of goes into what you said, how many little things go into this case. He mentioned if the grub truck didn't lose streaming capabilities or something, or power,
then it was no big deal.
Yeah, that it wouldn't seem to have affected much. So public business's live stream has almost no relation to internal police servers or evidentiary upload system. Those run on like completely different infrastructures,
or campus security for that matter, I think. But,
right? Yeah, because someone said it was just the university's website that was down. It gets so technical that there's so many little things. It's like unwrapping an entire bag of candy one by one. It's just horrible. There's so many different.
Well, Joe, I can tell you that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
I was gonna say I don't care if you're getting lucky or not, Joe. I got to come up to the apartment. I'm too wet. I got to come into my room, so you got to let me back in, man.
Yeah, I'm getting lucky, man. I'm getting lucky.
Joe's wearing his pink panties for you, dude.
I'm slick like that.
Oh wow. That would be a different kind of show.
Just by the way, the secret knock, DA.
I'm gonna let a little cat out of the bag that's kind of funny. I'm not gonna name names. So sometimes I have outside conversations with people that are kind of like following the channel, because I encourage people to reach out to me and have personal discussions and kind of get to know each other, because I like to meet people. And one person was having a discussion, and I told you the other day on a live stream about how I got beat to hell because I was reading a document that talked about whether the victims had panties on, and then we were talking on one of the shows about the panties in the street that weren't followed up by law enforcement, and even one was saying like, that should have been, like, to me, if you find a pair of panties outside of quadruple homicide, you should probably ask. But it led into an individual having a discussion with me, long philosophical discussion about how common it is to find panties around a college campus, which I said at the time, there's no way in hell I'm bringing that up on a live stream, because they beat the piss out of me for just reading from the documents whether somebody had panties on or not. But apparently, this person's opinion was finding panties in the street would not be uncommon on a college campus. And well, I may have walked past a pair, so I just want to let you know that may be true.
Wow.
There you go.
The
And then
website.
the room goes silent.
No, I was thinking earlier about, you guys mentioned websites. I think I mentioned last night briefly the website from photos from 1122 King Road. I don't know if I could articulate all, but the photos of the girls, very provocative photos. The website went down, and were the parents pushing these photos for the kids to make money? That's pure speculation. I don't know the answer to that, but one of them, I kind of felt bad for Kaylee in a way, but I mean, she was very, very pretty young, barely a woman, I think, with some of those provocative photos. Others, she was more modern, modern times or recent times, but they have the right to do that. Just it's interesting, these photos are circulating all over the place, apparently, so.
You got me in trouble with those, by the way.
I did?
Yeah, Joe saw me looking at those photos and said, "What the hell are you looking at right there?" And I'm like, "Dude, somebody sent me these photos."
Oh.
Can I answer a question from the chat?
Yeah.
Someone said 11. I think they were trying to tag me. If a doctor, DR sends DNA out, do you put code on it? I assume they're talking about what you guys were talking about, the label. I have actually worked in a doctor's office, and I do know that anytime DNA is sent out to a lab, it has to be labeled. It's normally assigned a case number and a sample number, if I'm not mistaken, and like a barcode. It's not usually labeled with someone's full identity, but the barcode is so that the lab knows which sample belongs to which test, but not necessarily the person's name. How they keep track of that, I don't know. But I think any facility, in my opinion, would have to have some sort of unique identifier, but that's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, it would make total sense, because you have to be able to keep track of that, and that would also go to chain of custody as well, I would think.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm taking over Joe's computer. I just came in and I said, "Look,
oh boy,
you need to go find
now
another place to get
his
one."
pictures. We just get a picture for your.
Oh, what?
Your
What the
camera's
hell?
still on.
Really?
Yeah, your camera's still on your phone.
Well, because
Just
if I hit the
Picasso
end
or
button, I'm going to
whatever
end the
it
whole
is.
live. Hold on. As long as you're not getting any kind of weird, unsavory photo. Yeah, this is a cluster. This is a cluster. You guys go on. Joe was like, "You really should be addressing the chat. You got tons of comments in the chat where it's not being addressed, but I can't do that from my phone." So I think I'm getting an echo. I got two cameras on. I need to step. Oh, wait a minute. I just turned the camera off, didn't it? Did it go away?
Yeah, it went away. Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
I think it was on delay because I
from
closed it
Molly
a while
Benson
ago.
for that question.
Robin, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
if you happen to see my friend Pam ever on the chat, I don't know if she went on tonight or not. Or sorry, it wasn't Pam, but Pam too, please. But I wish I had the woman's name. She was the one that said that, I've had two daughters the same age as Kaylee, and they never photobombed me. But Pam gives me a lot of great information on the Idaho 4, as many of you out there are doing. She's doing great research. And she said she sent DA a message the other night too. But anyway, sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, real quick, Jason, I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that you're doing a live tomorrow on your channel at 4 p.m. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
On
So you guys
but it'll
need
be
to
on
tune in
Charlie
over on
Kirk.
Jason's channel.
Yeah, that's why that happened. This thing.
Thank you very much, Robin. Join
Yeah,
me,
of
my
course.
friends. Join me, you true crime junkies out there. I have a feeling he just might be on my live again, making some great statements and questions again for me. Hopefully.
Okay.
I think we have to be in the same plane. That's why it kind of goofs off.
And you guys will see me with a grand piano. It's going to be a whole different backdrop. I'm going to be in a brand new house. I'm going to be on plush couches that Harsh Reality received from one of his donators. Harsh Reality has said I could sit on one of his beautiful couches, and we're going to go at it with Charlie Kirk. No, I'm just kidding. Harsh Reality, unfortunately, never allowed me to use his couches, but that's okay.
So let me address. There's some questions I just saw. I was looking through some of the questions, and somebody asked, "Hey, can you go to the grub truck?" I want to talk about a couple of those things. I'm not sure what my comfort level is. Like, I probably am willing to be a little bit more adventurous, maybe than Joe would want. But here's the thing. Like, I mean, if you look at the grub truck, we drove by the grub truck, and in fact, we plan on driving by again. We're going to do a members only live stream after this and drive the streets again, like we did the other night, and talk to people. But I mean, talk to people as in talk to our members. We're not going to talk to people on the street. But you know, when you drive by the grub truck, it's all a bunch of young college kids. I am not young. Yeah. Like I don't fit in with that crowd at all. I will stand out like a sore thumb. So there's a part of me that's like, I get it. Even my wife's like, go get me a mac and cheese from the grub truck. And I drove by and I looked, and it's like, it's a bunch of, they look like teenagers. Cause again, I'm an old man. So everybody in college looks like teenagers, but I'm like, I'm going to stand out so much going up to that grub truck. Yes, I can do it. I can get over my social anxiety and go do it for you guys. But I want to know what the value would be of me going up to the grub truck in the first place. I'm not going to solve the case standing at the grub truck. The best that you've got is you're going to see me on their Twitch stream, and I heard their Twitch stream might be off anyways. If their Twitch stream's off, there's no value really of me going there. So is the Twitch stream even running or not?
I am not sure. I somehow don't think that it is. Amanda might be able to answer that better than Amanda B, because I'm not on Twitch, so I don't know.
DA.
So look, yeah.
You could get, a lot of those students, I think, on your show, if you just put the word out, dude, and just be who you are. You got a youthful spirit. Get over your social anxiety. You're a good-looking dude. You got cock swagger. So do it, man, and your wife will be happy. Get the macaroni and cheese.
Got the cock swagger.
Here's the thing, like, again, everything is a cost benefits analysis, right? So I ask myself the question, this is where Joe and I've had some philosophical discussion. Is there value of me walking with my camera, for example, in the neighborhood where the house was torn down to give you a boots on the ground look at how it looks? Yes, I think there is value. If you could see it with your own eyes, I could see a value. I don't see a value necessarily of standing in line at the grub truck unless you guys think you're going to see something that you would have only seen by having somebody on the foot. So that's where I'm saying, like, when I ask you, like, what value are you going to get out of that? Are you thinking you're going to be able to see something that you couldn't have seen on all the photos that you've seen by having somebody there? A similar thing goes on with the corner club. The corner club is tiny. Going in there, I can't record. I cannot record from inside a bar. That's not legal in most places to record live footage inside of a bar with people drinking, because that can be a problem for people. So, you know, I just have to balance reality of, like, what is going to be beneficial. I put myself in risk. You know, if God forbid somebody recognizes me with my Mariner hat on that I've been on a million times on TV, and somebody follows true crime in the area, they might not be real impressed with me walking up there. So I have to be careful of my own safety as well, because I didn't bring an extra hat like a dumbass. And what I should do is I should put a beanie and glasses on so I look a little different. But I didn't do that. So anyways, they go live at 1 a.m. Okay, 1 a.m. tonight is when they go live. I thought it started at 9:30, but
you could have hired me as your bodyguard, yeah. DA. I would have charged you $150 an hour.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Estes Crime Maze. DA's making me out to be a pussy that I don't want to, like, walk around. I just don't want to be conspicuous, creeping around. You know, like, you know, you can film from the car and chat to people and do things like that. If we're, like, creeping around on the streets with a camera sticking out, right, it's just a little bit conspicuous, and that's not really my jam. So
and I want to be clear, right? I don't want you to sound like, oh, well, you know, he doesn't have any balls and I have the balls to do it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we both acknowledge it's not necessarily in good taste to get in people's faces with things unnecessarily. So there has to be a discussion of what the benefit is of doing so. So I don't want to piss people off. I'm not that kind of person. Now, maybe that's why I'll never be a great, well, I think someday I could be a great investigative journalist. Maybe I'm not there yet because I'm not willing to do that. Because sometimes the great people, like, you know, Brian Enton, just get in people's face and walk up to you and say, hey, talk to me. I'm from News Nation. But I'm not at that. I don't have those credentials. So anyways, it is.
Brian said you should go and drag.
Yeah, that might
tonight.
Drag. Right. Be careful with Brian Enton. Okay. He's part, in my opinion, he's part of the intelligence community, mainstream, lamestream media. And you know what he did on the coverage of the Idaho 4. He didn't tell you hardly any truth, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I can see that. So anyways, yeah, I just, for what it's worth, like I said, Joe and I actually think the same way. Like I know, like I said, I'm saying, oh, well, Joe might not want to do that, but I'm willing, only because I'm running a YouTube channel in which I don't want you guys. So there's a social anxiety on my part. I don't want to come back and have you go, oh my God, DA, you went all the way there and you didn't do this, and have you guys think I'm some kind of weak-willed person. So I'm trying to judge that. What level am I willing to put myself at risk? Because you're like, how the fuck did you go over there and not go to the grub truck? Or how did you not go to this place and have, and so I'm worried about my own social anxiety. Like, you know, so it's
DA,
I think
smoke a
DA
joint,
should
dude.
go to the grub truck, and I film him looking awkward around all these college kids waiting at the grub truck. That would
Yeah.
be comedy gold.
I like that. And
So,
and
yeah.
have them on DA show, like on the chat, man, and participate and tell us what they know of the Idaho 4. Do they believe maybe you know, Estes crime maze theory and extraction? Do they believe the students were murdered? What's their thoughts? You know, still in what's the atmosphere like with all those students at the grub truck? But you know, it's DA, as you know, it's totally up to you, dude. If you don't want to get your wife a macaroni and cheese because your social anxiety,
Wow.
it is what it
Wow.
is, right? I can still respect that, I guess.
Wow.
But-
All right. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for for giving me that.
But I feel bad for your
that-
wife. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, this is
Yeah,
why
but he
you're.
didn't take any Tupperware with him, Jason. He's got to drive all the way.
This is why
right.
Estes is on the
Forgot.
show, because he's got a sense
Need
of humor
that.
like that shit.
got to get some
But
balls
guys-
of steel.
1-1, everybody on the panel, everybody in the chat. Do you guys want to see DA looking awkward, hanging out at the grub truck, waiting, placing an order for some mac and cheese, trying to look like he fits in amongst all the
Yes.
college kids?
Yeah, that might be
Put
entertaining for
one-
you
put one
guys.
in-
Not
Yeah,
so entertaining for me.
I want to see him eating the mac and cheese
Robin, did
behind
you
the
see
behind the
Poland's
sorority chicks.
That's good, 1-1.
I mean, I'm down with the idea of digging a little bit. The question is, I kind of felt like there's a lot of Idaho 4 exhaustion around here, and
Yeah.
you don't want to be the person that's poking at things that people want to maybe forget about. Now, I agree. There probably are a lot of people that know shit in this area, like grapevine stuff. But it's just the question is, like, how much do you want to push and prod, to get to that point?
Let me remind you of something. I've been telling people for a couple weeks that I was going to be here. I've been telling you on a regular basis I was going to be here. I've been hinting about the exact days I was going to be here. I've been asking people, if you want to talk to somebody, this thing's over, talk to me, whatever. And one reached out to me and said, I see you're going to be in the area. I have some things I want to share with you. I think you'll be interested in something to that effect. I said, great, let's meet up. And they ghosted me. So I don't know what else I can do. Like I tried to make it known that I am not going to be in your face, but I'm going to be available. So if you want to talk, I'm here, take advantage. And no one's taking advantage of it. Now, maybe because I'm too small or I'm too old or whatever the case may be, but I'm trying, but I'm not going to, I have to be careful about how we do it too. Because again, if we harass people, it could get us in trouble as well. So I don't know.
I'm on their grub truck site right now, and somebody had said, did you see the Twitter post they made yesterday?
So again, what I want to say is, are we at 2 hours on the stream already?
We
we're
are. I
over.
was just going to say we're a little after 11 here, so I don't
Yeah,
know. Well,
this is
our
we I used to cut this live short at 1 hour.
It's 11:11. Make a wish. Sorry.
What?
Yeah, 11. There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Is it
So,
11,
you guys
11?
are probably,
Yeah.
ready to
Sorry.
get off of here, I would
Oh
imagine.
my God, 11, 11,
I had
11.
to. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
11. How about that?
All right, here's the deal, guys. Like I said, I used to end at an hour. Then I decided not to do that. But 2 hours starts to become maybe we should cut this thing off. So what I would like to do is kind of wrap
Yep.
up at this point. What I will remind you again, It's $3, less than what it would cost you to get macaroni and cheese at the Grub Truck. I assure you. You can get a membership, members only. Joe and I are going to get back in the car with a high-end camera, and we're going to drive around on our last nights on the streets of Moscow and Pullman. If you want to hang out with Joe and I, it can be highly entertaining at times. I do tell stories I wouldn't tell on the public feed on the members only area. Sometimes we have a little too much fun. So if you like raw stuff, and some of you don't like how many F-bombs I drop here, so you probably wouldn't want to join the stream because I can get a little bit even worse sometimes. But the point being is that if you do like that kind of stuff, the raw stuff, join us, Joe and I, in probably like 30 minutes. I'm going to go get a soda. We're going to load up the car. We're going to get the camera going. I'm going to give Robin time to gracefully shut down this feed so that I don't just hit the end button, kick it everybody out. We're going to start loading up and go members only live. So again, $2.99. You can get a whole crap ton. I probably have over 100 videos of members only content that's behind the scenes that you will all get access to immediately if you become members only. So
have fun, guys.
All right, have a great one, guys.
Bye,
Have
everybody.
fun. Thanks for having me up, you guys.
Yeah, thanks 11 for coming on.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye to
Bye.
everybody in the den. Thank you, guys.
All my great guests, 1-1, Estes. Estes, you're funnier than shit. This is why you're on the show. I love your sense of humor. Just want to say that again.
Right.
Robin, as always,
It's the
thanks for
accent for
being.
me.
Robin, thank you for co-producing this show and keeping shit running, the tight ship. It's a pleasure working with you. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you guys later.
Soon.
See you soon, fellas. And everyone else, thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you for bearing with us during all the technical difficulties. 1111, it was a pleasure having you up here. Please come back. And we're going to potentially tomorrow night do some more call-ins. That would be great. So people keep that in mind. If you have any questions, theories, you just want to, talk to us, ask us any questions, please. We'll have the link available to you. And again, please don't forget that tomorrow at 4 p.m., Jason over on his channel is going to be doing a live. That's 4 p.m. Eastern time. So, plan accordingly for the time difference wherever you may be tuning in from. So, you guys have any parting thoughts for the evening?
Just everyone have a good night, and I hope you guys join JJ and Lee's journey. Should be epic.
Yepper.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
And I'll come back
right.
anytime. Anytime. It was a
Please
pleasure.
do.
I had a lot of fun.
Great. All right. Well, everyone have a great night, and please become a member. Hang out with us in about 30 minutes. I'll be letting people know. If you're not over in the Discord, please join the Discord. And it has been a wild ride, literally, believe me. So, well, everyone have a great night. Take care.
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.